This severe weather just got a massive upgrade where scenes like this could be possible. Get ready for a wild week. Damaging winds, large hail, and big time tornadoes all possible. It might not be as pretty as this though. Now who's gonna get slammed and who won't? And when will this all go down? Gonna have all that and more on today's Monday forecast starting now. Oh, I hate Mondays. All right, so let's start with the visible satellite, and you'll notice on here there are two areas that are catching my attention. This up here in Minnesota, that is an area of weak low pressure. See that spin in the clouds up here? We've got another very weak area of spin. I'm not even gonna draw a circle around that, but that is another weak low pressure down there in Arkansas. And both of those two are moving slowly off to the north and east. And those are going to be our big weather makers over the next several days. And each of these lows are spawning showers and storms and clouds. And those systems are affecting our southeast brethren as we've got more showers and storms expected today, also impacting our mid-Atlantic and eventually our northeast brethren as we've got clouds and showers and storms around, and they're gonna stay around for the next couple of days. But look at this, basically everywhere west of this line, I hardly see any clouds, and that includes our West Coast brethren. And then zooming in here on a really cool satellite view, this is right along the Gulf Coast here. Look at all of these showers and storms pushing inland. That is actually your sea breeze, guys, pushing in. And we've got your sea breeze pushing in on the Florida West Coast as well. It's just so beautiful this time of year to see all these storms just bubbling up here and here and here. It's just gorgeous. All right, well, I could show you that satellite view all day, but let's switch gears and I'm gonna show you the future radar for today, for tomorrow. We're gonna start with today because we've got a couple of trouble spots that I'm watching. This low pressure up here in the Dakotas and Minnesota, that will be a catalyst for some very strong storms today. We've also got this other area of low pressure that we just talked about as well. Watch those two areas start to spin up showers and storms here in the Ohio Valley, the Tennessee Valley, the southeast here, even in portions of Florida. And then we've got another cluster of storms that's going to spawn right in here in Nebraska, Kansas, and into Minnesota today. If we zoom in here on trouble spot number one, it's going to be hard to give you a direct forecast for any one location, but I'm telling you guys, if you live in Ohio down through Florida in this region that I'm circling, expect on and off showers and storms as we go throughout the day, especially in the western portions in places like Nashville, Memphis, Tennessee, down into Mississippi, even up in places like Columbus, Ohio, Cincinnati, Louisville, and then possibly some in North Carolina and Virginia. And then our second trouble spot is this cluster of storms that's going to form, let's say, right around 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. So close to sunset, we're going to have a couple of clusters of storms form. One here in Nebraska. You're likely going to have a line going through Minnesota. And then you also could get another cluster of storms that develops right in there. And then that will bowl its way to the east going into the overnight hours. Look at this. This is about 2 to 3 a.m. Huge cluster of storms moving through the heart of Nebraska. And that is right where we have our greatest risk of severe storms today. We've got two areas of enhanced risk, 1 and 2. And I think the risk in Minnesota will be earlier in the day. So by the time you're watching this, we likely will have storms ongoing up here in this enhanced risk. And then our Nebraska risk will be later on into the evening, into the overnight hours. But we could have strong storms all the way up to Montana, into Billings, down even into portions of Kansas, and then going through northwest Iowa as well. And looking at our tornado threat, that will be greatest in Minnesota, interestingly enough, and that includes Minneapolis. We've got this 5% risk in there. That is in brown. That's what I circled. So that's where our greatest chance for tornadoes is going to be today. But the tornado risk goes all the way back up to Billings, covers much of the state of Nebraska as well. But here's the reason why they issued both of those enhanced risk. It's for wind and hail. This is hail right here. We could have significant big time hail, and wind will also likely be a concern as well, especially down in Nebraska going into the overnight hours. Now, we do have another risk outlined down here, primarily in Mississippi, but these storms will be less severe, more like some gusty winds, a lot of lightning, and we could have storms all in this region, right where I'm drawing. Anywhere in green, we're likely to see on and off storm today. even down continuing into Florida. I know we've got some Florida brethren in the video. So you guys are going to be hot. Daytime storms per usual. All right, so now what's tomorrow going to look like? Well, I'm going to show you right now. Waking up tomorrow morning, we still could have some leftover showers and storms. That line likely won't die. So into Kansas, you're going to wake up a stormy, lightning-y, that's not a word, rainy morning is ahead of you there. We also could have some showers and storms ongoing in this region. Very unsettled weather expected. And then we've got the leftovers of this low pressure up here that's going to be moving into Canada. So if you have any Canadian brethren, heads up. But as we go throughout the day, we're going to have more severe weather that's going to form right along this kind of leftover cold front. And that'll be the focal point for our showers and storms on Tuesday as that front slowly drifts off to the south and east. But then as we get later in today, there's going to be another round of showers and storms that develops here in western Nebraska and South Dakota. And tomorrow night, that will be our main area of severe storms as that line, as another MCS, a mesoscale convective system, pushes its way into Kansas. And zooming in on that thing, look how it just gets going and bulls its way. We could have winds 60 to 70 to 80 miles an hour, but big time hail, and some tornadoes are definitely possible, especially since there'll likely be an outflow boundary draped across Kansas from those storms today. And then across the eastern United States, we could have a line of storms that moves through Illinois and Chicago, so heads up there for tomorrow night. And then also several scattered storms across the southeast and the east. That's normal for this time of year, so get ready. And if we look at where the Storm Prediction Center has the greatest chance of severe weather, it's here in Kansas. That's going to be from that line that forms up here near Cheyenne, or Cheyenne, as I like to say, and pushes its way into Kansas during the evening and overnight hours on Tuesday night. Anywhere in green, guys, is likely to see some form of shower and storms during the day on Tuesday. I'm really good at coloring, aren't I? Now, where is the greatest tornado threat going to be? It's going to be in Kansas because an outflow boundary from the storms today will likely be draped across the state. So as that line pushes down, storms are going to interact with that boundary and they're going to start to spin and try to produce tornadoes. So heads up, Kansas City to Wichita, even up in portions of Iowa and Missouri, have that risk to see a tornado or two. Right now, wind and hail are the main widespread threats. Big time hail near Wichita possible. So we're likely to see 2 days in a row of an enhanced risk, both Monday and Tuesday. And for June, that is a big time risk, and those were upgraded. That's why in the video I said an upgrade, because these storms got a massive level up. Doing. All right, now what about Wednesday? Wednesday, we also are going to see storms once again further off to the east. We're going to have a leftover kind of cold front / boundary here. Warm, moist air coming up from the Gulf. And where those two clash will be where we get storms. So from Chicago, even up into Michigan, down into portions of Indiana, through Oklahoma City as well. That's where we're likely going to get several clusters of storms that form during the day, going into the overnight hours, even as far east as Ohio. That's where I am. Now, is there going to be severe weather Thursday as well? And the answer is yes. Okay, so here's that trough that's going to cause all of our severe weather the next couple of days. Watch as we go into Thursday. That trough's going to slide its way off to the east, and it'll be here in the northeast during the day and going to the overnight hours on Thursday. And that is when we are expecting severe weather to form, especially in this region. And that's exactly the area the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted, from New York City all the way down through Washington, D.C., even including Charlotte, North Carolina. You guys are outlined in this 15%, this slight risk, this 2 out of 5 risk for Thursday. I'll have to keep my eye on it closely for you, my mid-Atlantic brethren. Now, for anyone in the eastern half of the United States, you guys are probably wondering, will there be any relief in the moist air that's in place that makes it feel sticky and disgusting? And unfortunately, the answer is no. What I'm showing you right now, these are your dew points for the next week. And notice, I'm just going to pause it right here. We've got widespread 60s and 70s that go from the Gulf Coast all the way up into the northeast. Warm, moist air is streaming to the north, and there's no cold fronts, there's no strong cold fronts that will push that moisture off. So unfortunately, we've got yet another week of hot, sticky, and moist conditions. Look at that. Towards the end of next week, we've got dew points in the 70s and the close to 80 in Minnesota. That's like mega moist. And here's why, guys. Once that trough works its way out, we are going to be ridging over most of the United States. See this ridge? It's a ridge of high pressure, and that'll keep all of our low pressure systems. They will all go well to the north of us. This is what you call a summertime heat dome. Anywhere underneath of this heat dome, we will have very warm, warmer than normal temperatures, and muggier than normal as well. So get ready, guys. Summer is here. That's exactly why the Climate Prediction Center has this outlook out where above average temperatures for everyone in the eastern half of the United States as that ridge just sits over the same area for the second and third week of June. Wow, I just discovered a new feature on Weatherfront. With their soundings feature, you can click anywhere on this map in a weather model and it will show you the sounding. Let's check out the sounding for North Platte for this evening. That's pretty cool. We got some big time Cape and we got a little bit of wind shear here, so we're gonna have to watch these storms. But that feature is pretty cool. And lastly, a massive shout out to our fathers. This is my dad right there. Just punch him in the face. Are you okay? And we played golf yesterday. It was a wonderful day. I hope all of you had a great time with your dads, with your families yesterday for Father's Day. I hit the ball in the water so many times. But happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Back to the grind today. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. We are going to be doing another Outbreak Aftermath tonight. It's like the late night show for storm chasing. So join us there. I'll also be on Reed Stream as well. Hopefully you have a wonderful Monday. Find someone, tell them you love them, tell them you care about them today. This is Stormcat 5, and I'll see you on the next one.